Money is sometimes just a number, sometimes created with a click, and sometimes it turns into a lifetime of debt. But here's the question. If money can be created at any moment, why are millions of people still poor? The abundance of money doesn't make us wealthy, because money isn't value itself. It's only a shadow of it. If real value isn't created, increasing the amount of money only enlarges the numbers, not reality. History has shown us many examples of this. In 1923, a loaf of bread in Germany cost millions of marks. In 2008, people in Zimbabwe were burning banknotes for fuel. There was plenty of money, but no value. And the same picture repeated itself in 2018, when Venezuela experienced one of the highest hyperinflations in history. Prices changed daily. A cup of coffee that cost 5,000 bolivars one day could cost 50,000 a week later. The government kept raising wages, but those wages no longer covered basic needs. In 2019, 5 zeros were removed from the currency, introducing the new Bolivar Soberano. Yet inflation continued. There was plenty of money, but its purchasing power had vanished. It proved once again that when there is no real production or stability behind it, the more money exists, the less it's worth. So, is it any different today? Central banks can now create trillions of dollars with just a few keystrokes. Money is no longer printed. It's simply written. But this new money doesn't reach everyone at the same time. It flows first to banks, then corporations, and only later to people. By the time it reaches them, prices have already changed. Economists call this the Cantillon Effect. The value of money depends on who receives it first. The system isn't designed to distribute money evenly, but to keep it circulating. Money must move, but its movement is upward. Those who receive it first accumulate wealth, while those who receive it last struggle to catch up with rising prices. In reality, money may be infinite, but prosperity is not. We can create money, but we can't create more time, resources, or human ability. Not everyone has equal access to opportunity or knowledge. New money benefits those who are already better positioned to use it. That's why the wealthy move forward, while others remain where they are. There's another truth about money. It's born as debt. When a bank issues a loan, it literally creates that money from nothing. This means that for the system to survive, debt must always exist. If tomorrow everyone repaid all their debts, there would be no money left in circulation. In the late 1980s, Japan's central bank kept interest rates extremely low and issued large amounts of credit money multiplied, but production didn't. Asset prices soared: land, housing, stocks. At one point, a square meter of land in Tokyo was more expensive than in Manhattan. And then, in 1991, the bubble burst. Asset prices collapsed by nearly 70%, and the economy entered what became known as the lost decade. Now, the real question: why does poverty still exist? Because the purpose of an economy isn't to make everyone rich. It's to keep overall activity alive. For an economic system to stay stable, there must be balance between those who produce, those who provide services, and those who consume. If everyone were equally wealthy, that balance would collapse, and market mechanisms would fail. The complete elimination of poverty is economically impossible, because the economy is built on relative values: income, prices, labor, and production. All are measured in relation to one another. If everyone had equal access to everything, the very concept of value would lose its meaning. prices, wages, and goods. They all exist because of difference. Poverty is often not a lack of resources, but a result of how the economy moves. When money flows from one side to another, value is created. But because that flow is uneven, some accumulate and others lose. These differences keep the economic cycle alive, yet they also sustain inequality. In 1929, when the U.S. stock market crashed, the economic system sought balance once again. Everyone believed in endless growth, and markets were booming. But this growth wasn't matched by real production. Money was moving, but value wasn't growing. The result was the Great Depression. Banks collapsed, millions lost their jobs, and hundreds of thousands of businesses shut down. Economists say the system had become overloaded. The economy slowed down not to enrich everyone, but to restore balance. Sometimes the economy creates a crisis to correct itself. When money stops moving, the system tries to find equilibrium within itself. In short, poverty isn't a flaw of the system, it's its outcome. The economy grows, slows, and resets, not to make everyone equal, but to keep circulation alive. The economy survives not through stability, but through motion. When money moves, it creates value. When it stands still, inequality becomes the price of that stillness. Money is like energy. If it doesn't circulate, it accumulates in one place and creates scarcity in another. This is the fundamental reason poverty exists. Not because of a lack of resources, but because of an uneven flow. Money can be infinite, but values, resources, and opportunities are not. When value isn't distributed fairly, its abundance changes nothing. Accumulated capital on one side and diminishing opportunity on the other disrupt the system's balance. And when that balance breaks, poverty becomes not an exception, but a byproduct of circulation itself. The global financial crisis of 2008 made this very clear. Governments and central banks injected trillions of dollars into the system. Banks were saved, but the real economy didn't recover at the same pace. Money stayed in markets, investments stagnated, and millions of people lost their jobs. There was money, but it wasn't moving. Economists call this a liquidity trap. When there's plenty of money in the system but no circulation, that's the hidden mechanism of poverty. When money doesn't move, it doesn't create value. Economically, value exists only when money flows. Stagnation is what breeds poverty. And so one question remains. If everything is measured by money, then what measures the value of a human being? Perhaps the answer lies here. A person's value isn't defined by how much money they have, but by what they create with it. Money is only the result of value, not its source. Value begins with people and ends with money, never the other way around. This is financial world, where money shapes power and history. Learn something new? Subscribe. History doesn't repeat, it whispers. I'll show you how to listen.